season 1, episode 4 of Talk. Yeah, I keep track of this stuff. I have I don't get rid of the articles, so I have a text file that has them all. That's how I keep track. Because otherwise, if I don't keep track, then I don't even know. But we're up to episode 4 of Talking Tech with I'm George, and this is General Hemorrhoid on General Pain in the Ass. Where are the kids? That's always great when they do that. Oh, that's especially good when they do that to you. But how was your week? Did you go to a mall and walk, or just walk around neighborhood? So, are you hot tonight? Or are you cold tonight? Wearing a little titty. General is muted. Oh, yes. Why is General muted? Here we go again. Desktop audio. Oh, that's why. Yeah, sorry about that. At least, thankfully.
We found that in the beginning, like 10 minutes. We did this before where you couldn't hear me for the first 30. So that was series 1.
Well, just so you and I were talking before while it was streaming the spinning logo. Well, what I did was, so you and I could talk, I lowered the desktop audio.
Okay.
And that's the same channel you come through.
Good evening, Bull Rider's wife. Good evening, Bull Rider.
Good evening.
Look at that, man. He resubbed to you.
Oh, thank you, Bull Rider. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. He just loves my emotes. That's what he's after. He wants to keep using it.
Really? I thought it was your Ron Burgundy look.
I thought I looked like the other guy. What was his name?
Definitely Ron Burgundy, especially in this format.
Well, let's get
3 months, baby. 3 months.
3 months.
Hell yeah, Bull Rider.
Oh yeah, glutton for punishment.
So let's see what we got for the first article.
We got to run the intro. So here we go. So our first article, unlike Sony, it's a jab. Microsoft reveals more Xbox Series X specs, confirms 12 teraflops GPU. And the reason I said that, that way, because like Sony has been really tight-lipped about its
everything.
Yeah. It's PS5. They try to hush up people about the specs and stuff. It's like, if you don't have this stuff finalized by now, you're not going to be able to make changes by now anyway.
I think they do. I think they just want to see where their price points are going to be. Because the previous generations and having to take a hit and more or less selling these things at a loss.
I think they're still going to be eating a loss.
Probably to compete.
Well, at what price point does it become, why should I buy, whatever console when I could build a computer that I could do a lot more than just game with?
Right.
So, there's that. I like the specs. It has AMD Zen 2.
I was pretty impressed with it.
Yeah. Now, the thing that one of the leaks was it was going to have like 512. I want to say it was 512 gigabyte.
Yeah.
Heard Sony's plan is to wait for Xbox to come out, then sell it $100 less. Sergeant Too Tiny, I don't know that they'd be able to do that. I don't know. I will have to see.
They might. That's the only thing that makes sense to me as to why they haven't released anything yet. I mean, this stuff that's been leaked, they leaked it.
Yeah.
It
was like 512 terabyte SSD, and then a more expensive model with a gigabyte or terabyte in it.
I was impressed that they were toting 8K, and the fact that it's got ray tracing and everything else that all the GPUs that are coming out now are having. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know
if we can actually do it though.
Yeah.
Like even before, everything was being upscaled. They were up converting to get whatever it was. It wasn't native. So
right. And one thing that I did notice, it says support for 8K gaming and frame rates up to 120 FPS. That's not telling me that you're going to get 8K at 120. It's telling me you could go up to 8K, but it's probably going to be at 30 or so.
Yeah, well, the other thing that stuck out to me in that article was they were discussing how they've been working hand in hand with television manufacturers. So who knows? Would we got a whole nother realm of TVs coming out being released at the same time with this in unison?
Probably, but and here's the thing. When I worked for the company I worked for, we sold a lot of high-def TVs.
Yeah.
When out of necessity, because that was when they switched from analog to digital for TV broadcasts.
Right.
A lot of people bought HD TVs out of that type of necessity, but who's broadcasting 4K or 8K? Nobody.
No.
And you need a hell of a bandwidth.
Yeah, to even produce that much.
To be able to stream it. And
I saw some people that did it. It was like 8K for the first time, and I think they had like 4 or 5 PCs in unison tied together. And there was only one TV on the market where they could actually make it work.
Yeah. And what
how do you know if it was impressive or not? Because I'm watching it on my phone. That's in 1080. So.
Well, Sergeant says he's got to get to bed. Glad you stopped in. Thank you.
Yeah, Sergeant Tiny, thank you so much for stopping in, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And hola.
Hola to
T-Walk?
Thank you. If I tried that would be bad. Some people may have noticed that they're kind of looking down at me.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what it is the monitor I have here, there's a monitor right above it. And if I put the camera on that monitor, they have to pull it out.
Yeah, it's amazing because I have you off to the side of my second monitor, and it's trippy because I'm seeing you from like a different angle right now.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I do that, and I've done it that way, is that way I can, because otherwise the camera would be where your face is.
Right.
I'd rather see your face, and that way it kind of looks like I'm looking kind of at the camera too.
I got you.
Because I was watching our first 2 episodes, and I was always looking up here because that's where you were.
Yeah.
So I'm always like this. This way it's a little bit more natural.
Yeah, I've got my camera literally center of the main monitor that I use. When you see me looking off to the side, it's me looking at the stream and looking at see who's saying anything in chat.
Yeah. Well, the thing with I think is, like I say, these console companies have to be very careful in their pricing, because then it becomes a point of, I could build a PC for cheaper. I can get a PC for cheaper.
Yeah.
That has a lot more functionality to it. And Microsoft has released a lot of their games for the PC as well as like for the Xbox.
Well, price-wise, isn't there another article coming up after this next one that discusses that?
Yeah, there is. We're kind of I'm getting ahead of ourselves, kind of foreshadowing. But for our next topic, we have Fortnite made $1.8 billion last year.
I knew you were going to do that.
But still a game in decline. They're not making as much money as they used to. They're not as popular.
By half. They lost half their revenue so far.
Yeah, which to me it kind of stands to reason that would happen. Yeah. Because, when something comes out, it's new, and everybody jumps on that bandwagon.
They had a really good run, though. I mean, I'm surprised, like, half the partnerships that they made, I mean, they got themselves tied up in a bunch of licensing stuff with NFL and, having, like, major, music groups and major motion pictures, and it's pretty impressive that they did what they were able to do. I still hate the fucking game, but impressive nonetheless.
To me, I kind of think that they tried to be everything to everyone.
Yeah, and I think that's the point too. I feel like they maybe tinkered a little too much too fast. Like I get that, like we have this 24-hour news cycle and everybody wants, more. But I feel like with games, they screw with stuff to the point where they almost alienate themselves.
Exactly.
Like when Fortnite first came out, I used to play it, and I played it on PS4, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed the game. And then they introduced Mech Warriors and all this other stupid shit that wasn't for me. Sure, there's some people that loved it, but for me, that alienated me as a gamer.
Yeah,
I didn't want to partake in it anymore, so I stopped playing it. I still play it every once in a while with my kids when they beg me. We're talking, I think I played it 3 times this year. So.
What, 2020 or 2019?
Once or twice this year, once or twice last year.
Yeah.
Because I'll play on my PC and my son will sit right here on the bed behind me with his little Switch, and that's the only thing that's neat about it, that it's cross-platform. And I think there's just other games coming out, like it even discussed in the article, like Tarkov's hot on their heels. Apex came out and gave a run for the money for a little bit, but even Apex is in decline.
Yeah, I think and then there's another one that we're going to discuss. I don't know how good COD is going to show up, but that's foreshadowing. So
yeah,
your son's over there sitting on the bed screen sniping you. I'm gonna get you, Dad. I'm gonna get you.
Now we play on the same team, and he's better at it than I am. He's only 6. He's picked me up and thrown me over his shoulder, carried me to safety, reses me. Pretty good.
Well, speaking of, that is our next article, and that is Activision goes after Reddit to expose Call of Duty leaker. There is a guy that put up a person, I don't know if it's a guy or girl, put up a post that said that
it was a picture from within the game for the marketing for it.
Right. And I found this image, not sure.
Yeah. But he thinks it's related to the Battle Royale content, and they're apparently trying to sue this guy for doing it.
Right. They're trying to find out. First, they got to find out who he is, and then they got to find out,
it's, what it is. Make an example out of somebody. These publishers, they want to keep these things tight-lipped and build up, for their shows and surprise and hype. And it doesn't matter. They all fucking let everybody down anyway.
Right.
Anytime they add these new features and they're not quite up to people's expectations.
Well, it's going to be called Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you have to own Call of Duty, what is it, the new Modern Warfare?
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of that game. It's going to be an expansion on it. And I'm sure it's going to be tied to Season Pass or some bullshit, because they always have their hidden agendas in there as far as like their loot crates and whatever else.
Right. And I'm thinking it's going to be.
Hello, Hassan.
Hey, Hassan.
Thank you for stopping out.
It's going to be just as big of a flop as it was before.
I think it probably will be. What I heard was they were toting like 200 player battles, which, I remember in the PS3 era, there was a game out where there was like 400 people, and it was cool for all of like 2-3 weeks, and then it flatlined.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be, like a spike up when it first comes up, and then it's just going to.
No, I'm of the variety that less is more. And honestly, I mean, the only thing I would contradict that with is my experience with Tarkov recently. I think they need more servers.
Yeah. Well, and that leads to this question, which is going to what we've kind of been hinting about as we've been going along. Is what do you think a console's worth? What were you willing to pay for a console?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Not willing to buy a console again.
No, well, you know what I'm saying, theoretically.
Not worth anything. It's a fucking dust collecting paperweight, as far as I'm concerned. For me.
Right. Well, for your son, let's say, or your daughter.
I'd rather get them into PCs.
They're gonna bark because I got a guy coming for the truck.
Okay.
But $200-300, I mean, for the Switch was, I still, my nuts jump up inside me every time they drop the thing on the floor. But
gee, I wonder why.
My son just got the Switch Lite. It's already got a cracked screen. It's like, oh, this kid's gonna be the death of me. He's sitting at the table, trying to do something, cut his chicken, and the thing's sitting next to him, and he slides off the plate, knocks the thing on the floor, cracks the screen.
Oh.
And then it's, Daddy, can you fix it? I don't even know if they make screens for this thing yet. It's there to do. Sure enough, they do. It's like $25. So they clearly figured that these things were gonna break. Why they couldn't put Gorilla Glass in it like they do with the Samsung phones?
Well, the thing I didn't like about the Samsung phones, well, all the phones now, it's like the whole thing is glass now.
Yeah, I got one now, somewhat semi-rounded screens.
Like, why?
Who knows? So it's easier to pocket dial.
It's easier for it to slip out of your pocket too.
NSA wants to listen in, buddy.
But that's our next article? Is the U.S. market ready to embrace a $500 game console? Because Sony's saying that their console is going to cost is going to be like $450, somewhere in that range.
I think 500 is like max. I mean, people have spent that in the past. That's what they're accustomed to. And as much as they say, oh, with inflation, like they could get more money for it, hell no. Because, I mean, come on, man. If something goes up in price, we all bellyache about it. We don't want to. About the only thing they got away with is gas prices because we don't have a choice. Got to get to work.
Right.
But you don't need a console.
No.
And if you're going to spend upwards of $500, just get a freaking PC.
Yeah, and their PCs have come along to the point where it is intimidating to build one on your own, but it is not
the first time.
Yeah.
But once you do it once, it's like, we're all getting to the point where anybody can do it.
Hey, glitchy.
I mean, I'm not saying you're going to solder parts on a board. I sure as hell am not.
Oh, that's the thing is you're not going to have to.
What's up, Glitch?
More or less everything just goes. You can't do it wrong. If you're putting more than that type of pressure, it's not supposed to go there.
Yeah.
So
not me, man. When I put my first PC together, I used a hammer. Put the GPU in. Worked fine. You should see my YouTube tutorial on it.
Oh.
Kidding, I didn't use a hammer. Obviously, it worked when I was done. And I think it's bullshit about having to have like what is it, like a non-static conducting surface. I did that shit on a cloth sheet. There's no way that wasn't non-static.
Well, with us and our time, it depends on time of year. Winter, you would be more apt to shock the thing than the summer.
Well, I did it in the winter, so
it
fired up. No blue screen of death or anything. Worked out just fine.
I did mine.
Hurts my soul too, Hassan.
I did mine in the summertime, but I did a video with a friend of mine, and it was February when we did it, and and we didn't have wrist things. We would just touch metal every once in a while, and never shocked it.
I wonder if I can host you. I should probably do that, huh?
But off to our next subject.
What's the next one?
Is 3 ways AI is transforming the insurance industry. So it's not bad enough that McDonald's needs AI, which they don't, but whatever. Now we got, your healthcare, your car insurance companies, they need these AIs so that, we could save you money. This is to save you money. It's
right.
Only if you are, grandma at 80 years old, still driving, and drives like, thank you, General Hemorrhoid, for the host. Yep.
You got it, brother.
You know what I'm saying? It never goes near the speed limit.
Right.
Constantly rides the brake. I'm getting pointed at. Yeah, that's you. That's the way you drive.
Hey, man, geriatric driver.
Me, I just stumped the gas.
I can't quite call you blue-haired yet. You're not there yet.
Blue-haired?
Yeah, that's what you call like the little old ladies driving down the street.
Nah.
Isn't that terminology from your era?
He's here.
Hello, Ashbel.
I'm glad you pronounced that, because I would be horrible at it. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. I don't know why. I just always have been. If they're not traditional names, I'll screw it up.
Going good, Glitch. It's going good.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, who was it? Has that little device you plug in, and you could save on your car insurance.
Oh, who knows? It's all, yeah. They want to see how hard you break it, and
yeah. And that thing's always phoning home to tell them,
That's coming up in another article.
Oh, but last week we talked about Clearview.
Yep. The AI stuff?
Yeah, the Clearview, I'm getting ahead. Okay. Keep track, George. We have streaming represented nearly 80% of the U.S. music revenue in 2019.
Do people even still buy CDs anymore? I mean, I know people buy vinyl, but are they still producing new vinyls?
I don't think so.
I mean, shit, most of the record players in the world got to be wearing out.
I really don't. I mean, maybe the real high-end, real expensive stuff, but not like for you and me.
Right.
Because I have actually, I forget what it's called. I think it was the Vintage or something. It's got an audio, cassette player. It's got AM/FM radio. It's got a turntable on the top.
Yeah.
But it's also Bluetooth.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. It's just like an all-in-one. It's like looks like an old type of unit. And there's quite a bit you could do with it, but it's also, it's really meant to transfer music to a computer is really what it's meant for. And let's face it, if you really wanted a song, all you need to do is play that, on the radio and capture it.
Yeah, no, I just get everything from YouTube anymore. All my playlists are on YouTube. I go to YouTube for like 90% of my music consumption. Yeah, the rest is Monster Cat. I'll use that on the stream because it's non-copyright.
Right. But like I said, I started to say, we were talking last week about Clearview AI and how they're scraping all these social media for your photos and stuff. And then the CEO came out, and this is what really irked me. He said, "I have a right to your face." It's like, fuck you. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Revenge is a dish best served cold. Clearview AI's entire client list stolen in a data breach. So, I was kind of, I'm not going to say I'm happy that happened, but I am.
Yeah.
Because, one of the other things that Clearview was stating how they invested, like Apple, security is our top priority.
Yeah.
Lo
and behold.
Yeah, see how far that.
They announced that. That was just a challenge.
Yeah.
Let's prove you're wrong.
Well,
announcing themselves, all the hackers out there.
And it was funny because was it that LifeLock?
Yep.
If you remember back years ago, where the CEO advertised his Social Security number and dared anybody to hack it. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. They eventually got it. Eventually that happened. It's like you're just begging for trouble.
Idiots. Yeah.
But the funny thing
makes you wonder how some of these CEOs even get their jobs.
But the funny thing is as soon as that happened, they used to have this $1 million guarantee that was included with the service. That went away. You had to pay that extra now. That became a separate premium. As soon as he got hacked, that became a separate premium. But on to our next subject, speaking of revenge, except this is EA's revenge. And that is a YouTuber banned from every EA game and online service after rants, but importantly, threats.
Yeah, well, he was threatening employees and everything else.
And that's where I say, that's a bridge too far.
No, it's just the streamer has a piss poor attitude.
You could go after the company all you want. You start going after its employees, to me, that's a bridge too far. And this guy streamed this EA game, so he's biting the hand that feeds him.
Essentially.
Like, are you surprised? When stuff like this happens? What do you think? You're just immune? They're never going to find out about it? Like,
yeah, there's actually clips in the articles of what he was saying in his rants and stuff. Yeah, the guy's just an idiot. He should have kept his mouth shut. I mean, I'm all for freedom of speech and everything, but I don't think he listens.
Hold on. Shush up, dogs. But and that's the thing is, yeah, free speech, but that doesn't mean, where's the responsibility?
Right.
Especially when you're making threats.
Oh, it's a bad role model too. You can't be doing stuff like that.
Right. But speaking of YouTube, Donald Trump ads will take over YouTube for Election Day. And what he's buying, or his campaign is buying, is that strip along the top.
The front page, yeah.
I figured him and Bloomberg would have a bidding war over that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how that would work. I don't know if they can do that. Like, they set the price and that's it. I don't know if they can bid over it.
It's YouTube, so I would think,
Maybe.
Yeah.
But he's already reserved it. He has it. He has it for, I guess, the month leading up and then Election Day.
Yep. And then, you and I know that TikTok is primarily owned by the Chinese government, right?
I didn't know that, but okay, that would explain why, the next article was such a big deal.
It's owned by Tencent. And Tencent is owned by...
China.
Is owned by China. Let's face it. There's no real free market in China. It's all owned, in part by the government, right? So the TSA bans employees from using TikTok, and the latest U.S. agency to ban the Chinese app. And I guess what's happening is these employees are using it to post videos and stuff. I'm guessing it's while they're on the job.
They were like educational stuff, but yeah, it was while on the job. TSA had an outreach program which is contradictory to the CEO, whoever it was, that came in and said, we never condone this. But then in the same article, it says they had a community outreach.
Right.
So they definitely instigated it. And that's just the scapegoat to say, oh, we never sanctioned this, but they did.
But, and to the same token, they had to cut off the military from this, saying, military members don't have this stuff on your phone because, and I would expect that they wouldn't want really anybody.
Yeah, and they're not saying that the TSA agents can't use it on their personal devices, just not on the government phones.
Right.
Which is their right.
Right. But to our next story, we have here Comcast officially purchases Xumo, ad-supported streaming service.
They're buying everything, man.
And what this is to me is smacks in the face of net neutrality.
Yeah, well, they're essentially buying everything up so that they don't have any competition.
Right, and because you know what they're going to do is they're going to roll this out and they're going to say, if you use our streaming service, then we're not going to subject you to your data cap and we're not going to throttle it. Well, I've heard the argument that, well, the companies need to do that because people will be, using too much bandwidth. Data is data. If it's coming from Netflix, if it's coming from this company, you're still tying up the same amount of bandwidth.
Yeah.
This is just a way for them to get more
money. Yeah.
Yep. But if you thought that wasn't, Norwellian enough, we have China enlists tech giant Titans to help it track coronavirus with color-based QR codes. So in China, it's not bad enough, where you're at, but every day, you have all the Chinese people have this app on their phone, and they have to, and they wake up in the morning and they go to bed at night.
Just scan the QR code to prove that they're not infected.
Well, they have to answer questions, and that gives them one of three colors: green, yellow, and red. And of course, the phone is also giving location data to the Chinese government, of course. I do kind of understand why they do this type of thing.
It's not any different than the people that run the fisheries that stick a fish with a tracker, so they go and record stuff. I get it. It does kind of feel
Norwellian.
Yeah, wrong.
Yeah, because China is the size about this. It's a little bit smaller than the United States, but they have 4 times the population.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you govern a population like that?
I can imagine. That many fucking people. Holy hell.
Yeah. But, we've always been... I'm a big purveyor of, I don't like fake news. Because stuff like this, to me, is what happens because of it.
Right.
A coronavirus email hoax led to violent protests in the Ukraine. And what happened was that there was an email that appeared to be official from the Ministry of Health,
saying that they let X amount of people that apparently were infected with it back into the country, and there was none.
Right, and it
was off the cruise ship.
Right, and and that we're foreshadowing. There was people that came back here that we're going to touch on too. And now we get to our next article. Where the heck's it? There it is. Amazon removes fake product. Capitalism. Let's not let a good epidemic go, without making money. Amazon removes fake products promising to kill coronavirus.
I saw a meme the other day that had a Lysol bottle that said kills corona. It's like, how'd they know? It clearly was edited onto the bottle.
Well, Lysol kills everything.
Supposedly.
But
it literally labeled and had on there coronavirus.
Right, and it's like, But I've watched videos from YouTube that were people advocating the use of bleach, and I don't mean on your surfaces, but as
like drinking and consuming it.
Yeah, like really.
There was a YouTube video of a guy that was taking iPods back in the day, and he would take a potato and soak it in Gatorade, and then shove the other end of the charger, one end of the phone, one end of the potato, and show that he can charge the phone with it.
Oh, jeez. Which leads to the next article. Amazon is reportedly deleting some third-party listings that jack up surgical mask prices as the coronavirus creates a shortage. And this they're doing out of necessity because many states, including countries, have laws in place about for price gouging.
Yep.
So, I don't blame them for that, but and it goes back to what I'm saying. Don't let any good epidemic go, without making money.
Yep.
And to our next article is Facebook bans coronavirus ads that promote cures. Here we go. And fan hysteria. I'm going to let you try this one. I mean,
I get it. People are, I don't know, too much anti-vaxxer stuff on there, too much. But in the same article, then it also went to say, but then there's other things that they still haven't touched. So it just seems to be just this one thing.
Yeah. And we were touching on the CDC didn't want 14 coronavirus patients flown to the U.S. It was overruled. Now, these are American citizens. Certainly, they have the right to come back to the country.
Yeah, well, they're not sick, except for these were confirmed to have it, and they stuck them on a bus full of people that didn't have it.
Now, that's stupid.
And then planed them in.
Right.
And the CDC said, don't bring them back. You can't. And they brought them back anyway.
Well, and that's the thing is, I would say use common sense measures into place. Stick them in a separate section of the airplane.
Yeah.
Quarantine that. I know the air circulation, it's going to go from one part of the plane to another.
Yeah.
But they also have systems in place which sanitize the air as it does go throughout the cabin.
Yeah, but in the same regard, the other article was saying that there was people that had it and then were cured of it. So why not just wait till they're cured of it and then send it back?
Oh, they could have done that too. But
according to the article here, they just sent them all back and that they all had it confirmed.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me.
Right. And I mean, from what I understand of this, the reason everybody's so, on edge about this, coronavirus is that it has a longer gestation period. Patient, where you don't show symptoms and you have it.
Of it, yeah.
And then it fills your lungs up with fluid once you get it, and that's
right.
the deadly part of this.
Right.
Is you can't breathe, or your body's not getting the oxygen that it needs, and just have to there are just precautions you gotta take.
Yeah.
But on a lighter note, we have some little bit. Elon Musk says Tesla's solar roof is going global later this year. How much of a hard-on would you have for this?
I like it.
I like it too.
I think they look good, and I like the purpose they serve, and I think it beats conventional shingles.
Yeah.
I think it would be a nightmare to replace tiles and stuff, but I've never installed one, so I couldn't speak from first-hand knowledge.
Right. It depends on how they do it. If it's like panel to panel, which I'm assuming the way it is, but you could separate the panels and slide it out, maybe slide a new one in. But initially, this is going to be in Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Nevada, Oregon, Texas, Utah, and Virginia. So you and I aren't including this yet. So I'm kind of sad that my roof's been replaced. So, and that hasn't been that long ago. I think about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to replace your roof sooner or later, you'll probably get yours before I get mine.
Yeah.
But I think that's awfully cool.
Well, I've installed a lot of conventional roofs before, from 3 tabs to architectural shingles. Even messed with some slate roofs. I would imagine these have to be a similar system to a slate roof, though.
Right. They might like slide into each other and.
Well, I wouldn't imagine that these are going to sit right on top of plywood. I think there's probably going to have to be lath put on top so that there's room for them to breathe.
Yours will pant.
Yeah.
Yours.
It might.
But now, I think it was before we started the show. Yeah, it was, because it was last year that the Federal Trade Commission went after YouTubers for ads targeting kids.
Yeah, the jewel smoking something or other. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're not done yet. Look out, influencers. Your hashtag ads could be in danger. So the Federal Trade Commission is now going after people of influence who run ads.
Right.
And to me, I don't know, if somebody's paying you for an ad, if somebody sponsored us,
right,
it's going to be clear that it's a sponsorship. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's going to be, obvious that it's, that's what it is. And I've seen, where YouTubers put things in that it's not obvious that it's an ad.
Right.
So
well, it has to be. You have to announce that it's sponsored.
Well, you have to, and you're supposed to. Doesn't mean that they do.
What they're getting at here is hypothetically. So I vape on stream, even though I'm not promoting a vape product per se. Somebody sees me doing it, they're now saying, "Oh, well, they could go after me for whatever ads I ran during that segment."
Well, am I promoting you right here?
I would imagine you are.
Yes, I am. And it's obvious.
And yeah, I don't know. It's fucking lawyers for you, man. Lawyers are, and I apologize if many of you guys watching are lawyers, but most lawyers are fucking scumbags. We're talking about the ambulance chasing lawyers.
Oh, yeah.
The ones going after the jewel companies, the same ones that went after the cigarette companies. Everybody knows the shit's bad for you. They did it anyway. Like, it's like I keep seeing these Roundup commercials for shit.
Oh,
Fuck, this stuff's poison. You're putting it on plants. Obviously, it's not good for you. You're not supposed to sit there and bathe in this shit.
Yeah, it says on the label how you're supposed to use it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Common sense isn't common anymore. It's just, it's a shame.
You know why on ladders it says don't put this on soft surfaces?
Yeah, and they say don't step on the top step, but I do that shit all the time anyway.
Well,
it's a label.
Yeah. To our next is Intuit buys Credit Karma for $7.1 billion.
That's a lot of money. I actually use Credit Karma. I love the hell out of that site, and I don't have any problem with Intuit. I mean, they're
to me, it's just another way for them to collect your data.
Essentially, but Intuit is like what? They're just a company that helps you with filing your taxes and keeps track of your business stuff.
Like they have QuickBooks and stuff like that. That way, they can better keep track of things.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for them to acquire a company like that.
Right.
But I don't understand how they're making money off it aside from ripping the data, because Credit Karma is completely free.
Well, Credit Karma serves ads, from what I understand.
Yeah, and I'm sure they get a kickback from the credit cards that they promote.
Yep. I'm sure. Yep. Now, you're aware of Brexit. This has been going on with the EU for how long now? For years that they were supposed to exit.
It was what, New Britain or something like that?
Yeah, Britain wanted to get out of the EU.
Great Britain, New Britain, Great Britain.
Yeah. Well.
They exited.
Yep. Well, guess what? They don't have the EU's European Union's protection anymore. So guess what? Google pounces in and says Google users in the UK to lose the EU data protection that they've been used to.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is transferring that data out of the.
Well, now Google's looking at it as though, well, they're going to have to pay into this system. They're separate from it now.
Right, but they're going to transfer that data to the United States, where Google has more control over that data.
Right.
Welcome to capitalism.
Yep. How about it?
Now, this one, next one is kind of important to me. I don't really deal much with it, but the Trump administration backs Oracle in Supreme Court battle against Google.
Man, I thought it was going to be a Viagra ad.
No. Thanks for that. I have pump, remember? I just pump it up. Pump it up. And the reason is that this is, this deals with what's called an API.
Right.
And that is a application program, application programming interface. And it's how programs talk to each other.
Now, Oracle is... The hell's the guy's name that started that owns that? It's a billionaire dude.
I forget.
He's got an NBA team that he owns. Can't remember his name. He's on Shark Tank.
I don't know, but
I don't think. I'm surprised that that's the way it is, because he was talking bad about Trump. So for them to back them against, what was it, against Google?
Yeah, and this is the interface, is how programs talk to each other. So if you have like a weather app, and you have an automated home. The automated home app goes to the API to say, what's the weather? And that interface is supposed to be public so that you could write a script or a program in a standardized way to be able to communicate between the two programs. And that's a lot of what happens on your phone, how applications will talk to each other.
Right.
Is through the API. And so that, to me, would have a lot of implications if they're successful in this suit, if Oracle is.
Right.
But as always, I'm a big advocate, and I'm leading into the next article here, of buying devices that are not internet dependent. And here's why. Nest cameras were down for 17 hours because of a failed server update. A camera does not need to be internet dependent.
Right.
You can.
Well, mine aren't. I have 4 cameras here where I live, and I literally have just a DVR box, but I can also hook it up to the internet and check it from my phone or whatever.
Well, that's what I mean. That's not. In other words, if you yank that cord out of it to the internet, it's still going to function. It's still going to work. You're just not going to be able to access it from.
That's because Nest doesn't come with its own DVR box. Like, it's internet dependent.
Right. It's like, get your own DVR box and do it right, because otherwise you're depending on these services that Google, and Google's notorious for just pulling the plug on products.
Yeah.
And then you're left with these cameras that are as useful as a paperweight.
Yeah.
But in a bit of good news, Mozilla enables DOH by default for all Firefox users in the U.S. And
What the hell is DOH?
it's DNS over HTTPS.
I don't know the difference.
It's the short of it is what happens is when you start your browser, you go to www.google.com.
Yeah.
It goes out to a DNS server, and the DNS server says the IP address for Google is this series of numbers.
Right.
It sends that data back to your browser, and your browser then goes to that IP address to Google's server.
Right.
Well, that's how your ISP can find out what website you're surfing, is because that part is not secure. It's just an HTTP call.
So does that mean that if you're using Mozilla or Firefox, that your ISP cannot see what you're looking at?
Yep, because that is now encrypted.
Well, that's good then. That means they can't throttle what you're looking at.
Well, they can't throw out what you're looking at, but if when I talk about like Netflix and stuff like that, those are done on different ports, so they can throttle that.
Right.
But if but at least your ISP, it's going to be a lot harder for them to figure out what websites you're frequenting to be able to send you ads.
I also think it would be counterintuitive on their part to even bother throttling something like Netflix, because so many people use it, and they would get pissed off to the point they would find an ISP that wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but
they would essentially be shooting themselves in the foot.
In my area, I have 10-100. 10 up, 100 down. There's no one else that offers those speeds in my area. There's no one else. If I went with DSL, they offer 325.
Sure.
And we can't really stream on 3 megabits up.
Right.
Not at high def. But we've been talking about the flip phones and that. Samsung says website error exposed 150 customers' data in the UK. I just thought that was kind of funny because we didn't touch on it, but the week before they sent the Samsung Galaxy devices around the world received a number 1 notification.
Right.
And I just thought that was kind of funny.
Well, I'll tell you what, it works out for them that it's only 150, because the lawyer that comes up with the class action suit for that, can get those people paid.
They're all in the UK, in Australia, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you were talking about cryptocurrency and this and that. I've been convincing you kind of to shy away from that.
Yeah, it's too expensive anyway to dabble in.
Well, what do you think about this one? A drug dealer loses $58 million in Bitcoin after the landlord accidentally throws the codes out. What did you think about that one?
That's pretty funny.
I thought that was because he kept them. He was a drug dealer, so the police were already on his tail, from what I understand about it, and so it would have been forfeited anyway. But the landlord threw out his fishing rods, and inside one of the cases of the fishing rod is where he had a piece of paper that had the hash codes for all his Bitcoin money.
Go to that fucking landfill and start digging.
I don't think you really ever find it, really.
Ah, shit, $58 million? I'll go out there and fucking find it. I'll start digging tomorrow.
Speaking of digging, when was the last time you had your tires changed?
Last year.
Last year, so you won't be in for this anytime soon. Your next tire change could be performed by, guess what?
A robot?
Oh, robot.
I highly doubt it. I think the machines would be too expensive.
I don't know. This one, the guy said he'll make his money back in 2 years. And then after that, it's all gravy.
Yeah, if the fucking machine lasts that long.
These machines aren't built like, what you and I would buy. They're built, heavy duty, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, then the guy's walking by the machine, grabs him, and throws his ass against the wall. He'll be getting rid of that machine.
Dude. But I think that was pretty neat. I've changed when I worked for a previous employer. I started out at the auto center. So there were times that I've mounted and balanced tires. It's not rocket science. It's
not. No, my dad has a tire machine at at his house.
The biggest thing you had to think about was balancing, and then the machine told you to put where to put the weights and how much weight to put. Then you just ran it again, make sure it said 0. But you have 2 beautiful children, right?
Yeah.
And will they be getting this for Christmas? The first Alexa toy is a $300 kitchen for kids packed with dad jokes.
I don't get the dad joke part.
I guess it's still in the way it talks back, because it has Alexa built in, and it's not like the Alexa that you have in the hub or the puck, whatever. Yeah. And that it'll interact with the kids, but it'll also keep them entertained by saying jokes at dad's expense.
Gotcha. Not coming into my house.
No. How about I go back to, don't have things that are internet dependent. This is another thing doesn't need to be. PetNet's smart pet feeder system is back after a week-long outage. But customers are still waiting for answers as to, what happened and why. And this is an automated thing that automatically feeds your cats or dogs.
So what happened? They found the animals with their tongues hanging out, starved to death?
Well, you know what? Like, one of the, I'll say her name, Ray Ray. She was gone for, couple days?
Yeah, she had a human pet feeder.
Right, but if she didn't, if she depended on this device to feed her kids, they're not going to eat till she gets back home.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Now, maybe they're not going to get the kitchen, but what about this? And this might be something you'll like. Hot Wheels unveils a $400 remote-controlled Tesla Cybertruck.
Nope.
No.
It's ugly and full size. Why the hell would I want a miniature version of that ugly thing rolling around my floors of my house? I'd like to drive it down the stairs.
Oh, there goes $400.
Yeah.
I know. It is kind of ugly, but I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool.
They could have made it look so much better than they did. Why'd they go with that?
Because it's up and coming. I guess would be.
It's like a rip-off of the fucking DeLorean. It was cool in the movie, but
that's true.
Not for me.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of when I look at it.
And for our last article of the night, how much do you love McDonald's?
Not enough to buy a fucking candle.
McDonald's cent quarter-pounder candles have already sold out. Who knew people wanted to smell this burger at home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week so badly?
That's crazy. Did you ever see the old guy that has one in a glass jar from like the fucking 50s and it still looks like the day he bought it?
Oh, that's pretty frightening.
The wrapper wore out before the burger.
I said that, at least it's giving me, like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
But, oh my God. I mean, I guess if people will buy, bath water, somebody's bath water.
Hey, there's a streamer that did that.
Yeah, it's
Marketing genius.
yeah, marketing genius, and I thought people are stupid enough they bought it, and they did.
Is that a Yankee candle? I didn't know they were in the business of making candles.
All it says is it's sold out. It doesn't say where you can get it. But that was the last article of our show. And I'm sad that kids didn't come in.
They didn't. They know better now.
I'm sad they didn't come in. I
duct taped them to the chair. How long has this? How long has this been? Oh, they're good. It's only been an hour and 9 minutes.
Yeah, about an hour.
I'll go cut the tape after this.
Yeah, I don't know. You might want some private time with the missus.
She's working.
Oh well, private time.
Plus, they go to bed soon anyway. Come on, man! I'm a shooting full time. There's no private time with the missus anymore. Our time together, we went for that 3-mile walk today.
That was cool.
And now I'm like half crippled from it. So, yeah, I got to start walking more.
Yeah.
I got about 20, 30 pounds I got to drop.
Well, the way I used to say it at work is, here's a 20-pound weight. Put that on your belly.
Yeah, I'm carrying it around.
Yeah, that's what you're carrying it around.
I looked at one of those websites. It says, based off my height and my age, I should be between 155 pounds and 165 pounds, and I'm pushing 190 something, so I got to drop some weight.
I'm 6'4", so you'll have to look that up for me.
Shit, I was thinking about stuff I could do at the stream. Like, you guys make me run for fucking subs or something.
There we go.
Have to,
do jumping jacks on the bed.
See if we can go from the 3-mile walk to a 3-mile run a couple times a week.
All right. Well, that has been our show for this week. I hope everybody's enjoyed our what we had to talk about this week. I'm George, and this is, I'll get this right eventually,
Todd. General Hemorrhoid.
General pain in my ass.
Oh, never.
No.
You love me?
Yeah, I do. And we'll see you guys this time next week.
Thank you for being here, Hassan, and everybody else that's been hanging out. Thank you.
Yep, thank y'all. Love y'all.